This video is an introduction to using Antigen Plus in the hospital blood bank. We will start with a patient and follow the workup through to its conclusion. There are many options on how to set up your work in Antigen Plus, and these are covered in detail in the Options and Setup video. Other aspects of Antigen Plus, like importing your panels, entering data, setting your exclusion criteria, and using the blood analyzer interface are covered in separate videos. You will find the index on our website. From the main screen in Antigen Plus, we start by selecting a patient. If you have a barcode reader handy, you can use it here. First, we will put in the specimen ID. This is not mandatory, but once it is entered, it will be required for all work done on that patient in this workup. For this case, I'm entering the ID of a patient who is already in the system. Now the patient is selected, and we are ready to test the sample. To find the screening cells we want, we open the lot drop-down list and click on the lot we want. Then we select all matches to load the panel onto the worksheet. Let's go to the worksheet and enter our reactions. First, the specimen number. Then I enter my spin results, and you can see that this has no effect on the analysis. These are unevaluated test results, and those unevaluated columns appear in gray on the worksheet. Now I will enter the results from the gel test. Any positive results here will have an effect on the analysis later on. With the screen results entered, it is time to save the screen. If we got any positives, as we did here, there is more work to do. At this point, we will probably want to save the work thus far and leave a note in the panel description field. In this case, positive screen is sufficient. We could continue to the next step or leave the work for later or for another tech. Negative screens can be saved as well, of course, and stay with the patient record. Here we are clearing all the work to get ready for the next step. The panel is loaded up again from the Load Saved Panel menu. Now we can add a full panel to complete the work. Once we select a panel, in this case an Ortho 11 cell, we will begin to take note of the pre-analysis on the search screen. You can see here that the antibodies to antigens highlighted in orange cannot be excluded with the cells on this panel. The yellow highlights indicate possibilities of exclusions depending on test results. Going back to our worksheet, we are now ready to enter our test results. Not everyone will enter their spin results here, but we will do that for thoroughness and include the auto control on the bottom row. Now that the results are entered, the color scheme on the worksheet identifies the status of each antigen on a row. On reactive rows, light orange indicates that the antibody has not been excluded and is one of several possible explanations for the positive reaction with this test cell. Dark orange indicates that the antibody has not been excluded and is a likely explanation for the positive reaction with this test cell because it is the only non-excluded antibody against the 28 antigens on the row that are evaluated by Antigen Plus. These reactive cells count in assigning antibody specificity. On non-reactive rows, the grid is easily examined to identify antigen-negative cells with negative reactions to the antibodies present. A common approach is to require either 2 or 3 reactive cells and 2 or 3 non-reactive cells for each specificity. Light blue indicates that the antibody has been excluded by the other test cells. Dark blue indicates that the antibody has been excluded in part because it was ruled out by this test cell. Gray indicates that there is a rule out but not an exclusion for that antibody. With my results entered, I can see that big K and big E cannot be excluded, and that they are strong possibilities, but it is not certain since JKA and or M appear on the same rows as positive E and or K, and only have one rule-out elsewhere. The single rule-outs for JKA and M appear in gray. We can always check our rules for exclusion. In addition to the one homozygous or double dose rule-outs for JKA and M, we can see that there are 4 heterozygous or single-dose rule-outs to M and 1 for JKA, so we can be fairly certain that they can be excluded. However, we can check our inventory to see if we can find another homozygous donor cell for each specificity to confirm this. We go back to our search screen to select the appropriate donors. We search for a donor cell that is negative for big E and big K, and positive for JKA and M, but negative for JKB and N, so that we get homozygous donors for both. As we select that cell, we see the pre-analysis changes from orange to yellow on the search row, and we can go back to the worksheet to enter the results. With the negative results to the homozygous JKA and M donors, we have confirmed the anti-E and anti-K, and if we are not concerned with V and Lutheran A, it is time to type the patient. Once we have the patient's phenotype entered, it will appear in the auto control row for that patient. Now we can enter our conclusion and save the workup for review. The next time we select that patient, we will see those antibodies associated with him or her. We saw our results evaluated according to criteria more stringent than the AABB recommendations. If we had used the minimum standards, our results worksheet would have looked like this. The JKA and M were excluded on one homozygous donor cell, and the big E and K were immediately apparent. We showed you this workup without using check cells or any secondary testing methods. These issues and many others are addressed in our video library. Thanks for watching, and please email customerservice@antigenplus.com for more information, to schedule a live demonstration, or to give us feedback on our videos.